Well, hey, podcast listeners, it's TJ.
And Julie.
And in episode 63 of the Pixar Post Podcast, we're going to talk about short films. Are they still happening? We're going to talk about SparkShorts. We're going to talk about some Toy Story 4 news, lots of that. We're going to talk about some other big questions that are going on in the world of Pixar. And what do you say we get right down into it and welcome ourselves back, finally, to the Pixar Post Podcast, eh?
Welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a couple things that we have to get to, but one of those is that anybody that, even though we've been away for a while, anybody that has been around knows that the first thing that must happen is some Pixar trivia, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
That's right. So we've got some new gear here, and I've got all of these sounds queued up and ready to go.
Oh, great.
Better than ever. And we are ready to put Julie and you to the test listening to this. So, Julie, just as a reminder, if you're coming up with an answer right away, give it a couple seconds.
Say it right away, right?
Yeah, give it a couple seconds and let's see what people do. Make sure that, let's go for it.
Okay.
First Pixar trivia question of episode 63 is, what does Mo stand for?
Oh, my goodness. Hold on a second.
Okay. Do you
It's
think
like
you know?
It's like on the tip of my tongue because first off, this is one of my favorite characters from WALL-E. Second off, it's also one of our son's favorite characters, and we watch WALL-E quite often.
Oh, he's my favorite. Mo. I'll stop it. I have a essentially.
Okay. We just talked about this a day ago.
You talked about his name, though?
Yes.
Okay.
You and I were talking about it. Maybe it was like 3 days ago.
All right, I'm listening. Any guesses?
Give me a hint.
Well, he's a cleaner.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, man.
what would he be cleansing? It's awesome.
Goodness. I'm embarrassed. I can't remember.
Okay, it's microbe obliterator.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you think you knew that? Like hearing it now, does that sound familiar?
Kind of. Maybe it was something else.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would not have guessed that.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, good job. I mean, it is a hard one. In fact, I had to, in full disclosure.
What else were we talking about with him?
With Wally?
No, with Mo.
Mo. I don't know.
Oh, man. I wish I could remember that conversation.
Because I clearly don't.
Apparently it was memorable.
Yeah. All right. So this one is, I think, trickier. But anyways, what I was going to say about Mo is I did have to re-look it up just to be 100% too.
Did you know it off the top of your head, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I had to re-look it up. And after I read it, I was like, oh, yeah. So it's one of those things that unless you just keep thinking about it, it's kind of hard. So, All right. Including P.T. Flea, how many circus bugs are there?
Circus bugs! How can you be circus bugs?
Oh, my goodness. I like your little
Thank you.
sound bite.
Thank you. Yes, I am very excited
But
now
not
that I have like an audio punch-in thing here.
Yeah. So where I'm not going to include Flick.
Well, so what I was going to say, yes, not Flick, because he's not one of the circus bugs
Yeah, okay,
himself.
so I'm going to include P.T. Flea. Okay,
Yep.
so hold on. I'm just going to count on my hands. Okay, so.
Okay. Name them off if you'd like, because your bonus question is can you name them?
Okay, so.
I'll help you keep track of it.
Tuck and Roll.
Okay, so that's 2.
Yeah, P.T. Flea.
Yep.
Heimlich.
Yep.
The Walking Stick.
Which is?
I can't remember his name right now. Ladybug, Francis.
Yep. If you think of somebody that's tall, how would you describe them? If they're very tall and very skinny.
A stick?
They're slim.
Slim.
So that's slim. So that's 6 that you've gotten.
I can't remember the names of them. Oh, this is so embarrassing.
It's not. It's not. If you get put on the spot and get asked this, it's a lot harder than if you think about it after the fact or something like that.
Yeah, it's harder.
Absolutely.
The moth and the praying mantis.
Okay, so that's Manny
Yeah.
and Gypsy.
Gosh, Manny. Oh, that's so embarrassing.
You've got 2 more.
With the spider.
Do you have any guesses on the name?
It's Bonnie Hunt.
Correct. Yes. Rosie.
Rosie. Gosh,
Okay.
darn it.
And you've got 1 more you're missing. And how many do you have? Were you keeping count?
9.
Yes. So there's one that you're missing. That's it.
Hold on, I'm thinking. Did I say Heimlich?
Yes, you did. He was like your third or fourth.
Oh, okay.
So how's about Brad Garrett voices him?
Oh. Yeah. The stink bug guy, the horn beetle.
Yes. What's his name?
I can't remember.
If somebody is not the brightest.
Oh, Dim.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
I know their names. That's the most embarrassing part is I know
know
their names and I just can't think of it.
But again, put on the spot, it is pretty tricky. I mean, I know I wouldn't have gotten all of them, but I like putting you on the spot.
I know you do.
That's part of the Pixar trivia.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it helps everybody else out too.
Quiz you about Coco.
Go for it. So yes, so the question again, the bonus point is how many are there? There's 10. P.T. Flea, Francis, which is a ladybug, Slim, Heimlich, Rosie, Dim, Manny, Gypsy, Tuck and Roll. So there we go. So officially, let's welcome back the podcast. I know we've had quite a few of you reaching out and asking when we'd be back. I'm happy to say that we finally are. We have some new gear. We're ready to go. We'll share more of the gear and some of the background of it later. But let's just say
some
that
YouTube stuff.
and some YouTube stuff. Yeah, on some YouTube stuff. Yeah. And let's just say we've spent over $1,000. And we're up to. I mean, no, it's awesome though. I mean, we've been planning for this for a while. Our calls, phone call interviews are going to sound much better with Pixarians, even if we're taking them remotely. So that's pretty cool. But we definitely want your feedback on it too. Tell us if we're crazy. Tell us if as you're listening to this, it sounds any better, sounds exactly the same. If there are elements that don't sound the best, whatever it is, we want to know. We're tweaking this as we go. So there's going to be some things.
And it's a lot easier process.
It
the
is.
new equipment.
Yeah, we're live triggering everything. So the intro music is triggered by myself, and then I fade it down. And then same thing with those sound bites, same thing here. So
Circus bugs! How can you be circus bugs?
I can turn it up or down as they're going, and I can do
Okay.
as many as I want. But it's pretty exciting.
I know. He could talk to you guys all night about this new equipment if you can tell.
And I will in a upcoming probably YouTube episode or a Patreon or something like that. So we shall see. All right, so let's talk about some SparkShorts before we get into the Toy Story 4 news and our question about shorts, because this will all kind of walk itself from topic to topic. So SparkShorts, they've been out for a little while. But let's actually talk through them. I'm going to ask you some questions on them. We can both give our insights. So they came out initially with Purl being first on February 4th, Smash and Grab second on February 11th, and then rounding out the initial three with Kitbull on February 18th. So they've all been out for about a month at this point. The next three that are going to be coming are Float, Loop, and Wind. Definitely carrying a lot of the single word titles. Smash and Grab, the only one that's breaking that.
Yeah.
Breaking that. Oh, they're breaking stuff up. I didn't even realize that. So leading up to them being released, which of the three, Purl, Smash and Grab, or Kitbull, were you most excited for?
Ooh.
Well, you think about it.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
I was excited for all of them for different reasons.
Okay.
I think I was most intrigued by Kitbull because it was going to be 2D animation.
Okay.
Done in a 3D world.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Because I know they used a lot of their Pixar 3D technology to paint and everything.
Correct.
So I think I was most intrigued by that one. And that happens to actually be my favorite of the three that have been released so far.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So mine, the one I was leading into it most excited for was Purl. I don't know if that was more because it was released at, what was it, Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival when it first came out.
Oh, No, it was...
you're right.
Annecy.
Annecy International Film Festival. Thank you.
Still in France.
There you go. But what was...
Cannes. Sorry. The Cannes Film Festival. Sorry. I couldn't let you get away with that one.
All right, fine. So I don't know if it was because of that. I actually think it was probably because of the fact that the character, the way it was designed, I actually really liked seeing all the fuzz on it. It felt very Pixar to me, and I like the little subtle touches, like of the 2D mouth that kind of hovered above it. It reminded me a little bit of Knowsmore from Ralph Breaks the Internet. So there was elements of it that really
Muppet. We also kind of talked. It was kind of Muppet like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well,
just the mouth.
And I thought it was cool, too, that it was Bing Bong's mouth.
Yeah.
Like, that was a cool little element there. There was things that I really was, I don't know, for some reason, the color palette I was really drawn to. I was excited about that one. The one I was next excited for was Smash and Grab and then Kitbull. And I hate to say that because, as you said as well, Kitbull turned out to be my favorite.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely in line with what the majority of viewers thought. Kitbull today, March 13th, when we're recording this, but Kitbull's at 21 million views.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy. Purl is at 8.5 and Smash and Grab at 2.6. That's my order that I actually like them in as well. And I say that not to, put anybody down that worked on Smash and Grab. I actually like it. It's just that I didn't like it as much because I didn't, and I thought about it a lot. What didn't I like about it as much as the others? It had that Wall-E feel.
Yes.
Which anybody that has listened to any of these or knows anything about me knows how much I love Wall-E.
Right.
So I was super excited getting some of that Wall-E feel again.
Well, plus we had known about Smash and Grab for so long.
Yeah, maybe it took some of the wind out of the sails with it.
Because we had known about it for so many years.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I think the biggest thing for me after I thought about it, though, was I just didn't emotionally connect with the robots in the same way that I understood what Purl was going through, or anybody that sees an animal get harmed or is alone or scared can feel emotion for that pretty easily. It's a lot easier to sell that, in my opinion, than it is to sell robots breaking up coal.
Although the emotion emitted through their eyes.
Absolutely, in the same way it did with Wall-E and Eve and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But for some reason, those characters, I didn't feel for their pain quick enough.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where I kind of just said that, that one was lower because of that. But the animation, the styling, I love how they were play baseball a little bit, or catch and that kind of stuff. There was things that I really, really liked about it. And, I like the edginess of when they broke out of the top of the train and the people were coming after them. The other thing that Smash and Grab had against it a little bit from a short film is world building. Purl is in an office. Everybody gets it immediately.
Right.
Kitbull is in
especially even when Purl leaves the office, you understand, they're at a game. They're at familiar places.
Exactly. So you didn't have as many obstacles to overcome in those other ones. In a short amount of time. Exactly. And I think that the creativity factor of the world in Smash and Grab was definitely probably a little greater, but it was the story that I didn't get drawn to as much because of that. But again, I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like it, because I still did like it. There was a lot that I liked about it.
No, same here. I like them all for different reasons. My list is the same as yours, and obviously, given those numbers, it seems like
that's the general populations. At least, it's understandable that Kitbull got shared the most. Any animal rights, people just generally sharing things online, that kind of is an easy one to share. Purl had the social elements associated with it. It probably didn't get shared as much because of the extra edginess that it had too. As far as Kitbull's one that, our son watched and loved right away.
Right.
Purl, we were a little more because of the language. So it has, not a bad thing. I love the fact that they're pushing it.
I did too.
I thought it was super cool and edgy.
Well, I like that it pushed it, but then it was done in a playful way.
Right.
The social situation, it right. was the one scene, it was done in a playful way and not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought they were all three well done. I'm really excited for the next three. I hope they start coming out soon.
Yeah, so just to recap, Purl was first with Kristen Lester. Smash and Grab was Brian Larson that directed that. Kitbull was Rosie, or Rosanna, but she goes by Rosie Sullivan. Float is upcoming and these are not in order. We don't know when these are going to be released. So Float is Bobby Rubio. Loop is Erica Milsom. And Wind is Edwin Chang. So we'll be excited to see what the next three that come up, or when they come out. We'll, of course, be filling everybody in with the news as far as once we learn more about those three wonderful shorts.
So speaking of shorts.
Yes. Do you want to kick it off?
No, you kick it off.
Okay, so the big question that came from this is, will shorts, as we know them today,
feature film shorts?
Great clarification. Will they still exist? So will
alongside feature film releases?
Yes. So first question, well, let's not even answer these yet. Let's just rifle through these. So will there be one for Toy Story 4? Coco had in theaters for a limited time release Olaf's Frozen Adventure. Didn't even come with it on the Blu-ray or the 4K or DVD or whatever. Ralph Breaks the Internet, from the Disney perspective, didn't have a short. So is this the silent ending to short films as we know them attached to features, and are they just transitioning to SparkShorts?
Okay, so Disney didn't have them on a lot of their films. They didn't have them for all of them.
Well, Disney created ones.
Yes.
They did after John Lasseter started coming in and doing it from bolt on, I believe. Because the only one that wasn't even Disney produced was...
so they had Feast, they had Paperman, they had the Ride a Horse, Mickey Ride a Horse one. Those are the three that I can think of.
No, there was the body one, the internal...
Oh, yes, that's right.
And I'm forgetting what that name was. Isn't it funny? We're so close to Pixar, but yet so far from Disney.
I know.
We just don't have the time to invest all of the research and everything.
But the Disney parks,
Inner Workings, wasn't it just Inner Workings?
Oh yeah,
yeah. But the parks, yeah, you pay attention to that. But we're still not as far in as the parks blogs and stuff.
I'm still pretty.
You're gonna put your stamp out there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But okay, so finish your thoughts.
I was just gonna. I mean, is it the silent end to short films as we know it attached to feature films?
I hope not. I'm really excited for the SparkShorts. Don't get me wrong. I really like it. I like that, they're giving 6 months, a little bit of money and,
yep.
Show us your point of view. But I really like rooting.
Oh, I know.
For
I love going into the films and having a short film ahead of it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people kind of look around and are confused. Is that polling that's leading to them saying maybe we shouldn't do these anymore because people are confused? Is it the fact that there's just not the render farm time, because of all
doing
the
multiple
SparkShorts and the multiple films and all those other things?
It could be money too, because what we've heard in the past is
they lose. Yeah.
The short films aren't.
Yeah, they're not revenue generating. It's for them to work out technical issues. But are they?
However, they get acclaim because Bao just won an Oscar.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. Is the notoriety I'm trying to say is that
the notoriety? Is it worth it? Yeah, because it still is keeping Pixar as that place. Is it doing the same thing with SparkShorts though, without the critical acclaim, but from the industry acclaim with SparkShorts? Because now you're talking about, oh my gosh, you've got all these great talented people that you're able to figure out if they can lead your next project and in a much shorter time frame.
So here's a question, kind of staying on that awards line.
Yep.
Could any of the SparkShorts go into the awards circuit? Would it, do you think? Because if you have we know 6, and I think there's 2 more that are kind of in the pipeline.
I think they absolutely could.
So that's 8. So we'll say that there's going to be 12 before the next award thing. There's tons of different awards. Could they throw 1 or 2 of them up for consideration? Do you think they will? Do you think they're just going to be out of the shorts?
Well, the tricky thing is they're not called Pixar Shorts. They're a short film made at Pixar.
Yeah, they're they're different.
So
But-
it wouldn't be a Pixar sponsored run, but there's things like the co-opted program of Borrowed Time that were created.
Which was also up for an Oscar.
That was up for an Oscar. So what I was saying is I think that there is a way that they could be nominated, but not through Pixar. I think they would have to do their own submission, take them around to different film
And
festivals.
I mean, we know that because Weekends was done by a Pixar employee.
Trevor Jimenez, yeah.
And he did that on his own with a couple of different Pixar employees.
Correct, and that was nominated.
That was nominated for an Oscar this past year. Won tons of awards. Would it be something like that? That wasn't even associated with Pixar.
I know.
But SparkShorts is, I don't know. I'm
Yeah, we're going around and around because we don't have a clue either, but it's interesting to think that we haven't heard anything in the pipeline about any upcoming short film projects. And
for feature films.
for feature films, yeah. Thanks for keeping me honest with that.
We've heard lots of shorts coming, but none attached for a theatrical, like a feature film theatrical release.
Yeah, and that would be
Because the SparkShorts were a theatrical release, but
that would be kind of sad
I know.
if it was.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But do you think there'll be one attached anything in front of Toy Story 4? Will it be one of the SparkShorts or another short that we just haven't heard of? Will it be anything?
I hope so, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think that's the way the cookie crumbles with Toy Story 4. I guess it's always a possibility that there's something that's out there, but we just haven't heard anything. So we have to assume that there's not.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll hear something soon.
Yes. So the news here going into the Toy Story 4 side of the house is that we got invited out to Pixar for their press event for Toy Story 4. So it's going to be fantastic. We're going to be heading out there. We're going to be learning all about the making of the film, same way we've done in the past. We're going to be recording some of our sessions so that way you can learn more about the film itself. So
Can you guess who's going to go?
Are you rubbing this in that I'm going to Toy Story 4?
Yes.
I was originally excited. Let's go all the way back. Julie and I often, and we never take these for granted, we do not assume that we're being invited.
Never.
Every time we talk to anybody at Pixar, we're like, we always say, if we're able to be here for the next event, we realize we're lucky to be here. If we are, it's good. We always negotiate. Julie and I always negotiate who would get which ones.
Yeah.
And Toy Story 4, from the very beginning, I was like, I have to go.
Yeah, when they give the slate, like I believe at D23 this is probably 6 years ago now.
Yeah, we start doling it out. Who's going to do which one for which. And there was definitely some consternation. We were going back and forth on this.
Anything Incredibles, Toy Story, or Cars.
And it just happened to be that they were doing sequels to all of those and they announced them all right then.
Yep.
So I got it because of some of the films moving around and the Toy Story Land opening at the parks, which Julie has claimed all parks.
Yeah.
So if anything happens at the parks, she's there. And I said, that's totally fine because that's her passion.
It was like a dream to be invited out to the Toy Story Land press event at Disney
You've always
World.
wanted to go to a parks event. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so that interspersed in between Incredibles 2 and now Toy Story 4.
Yeah. And I stayed an extra day. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. You just went and rode rides and hung out with some of our friends that were there just because.
Just because it was so fun.
Yeah.
But it was kind of sad to be by myself without you guys.
Well,
But it was so fun.
So let's also talk about this trailer. So there was the whole thing of the trailer being rated on the Alberta, Canada Film Ratings website, and we thought it was going to be coming super fast because usually once that thing is rated and it shows up there, within a week, it's usually out.
Yeah, a week or two.
Right. So it's definitely been much longer than that.
Yeah. And you had, we've talked about this for a long time, just, TJ and I, but you had some killer insight.
Well, go for it. Talk about it.
Okay, so we've been talking. I'm like, well, they're obviously holding it for something, and they just had the what was it? The Disney,
the annual shareholder meeting.
Yes, we're like, okay, maybe they're going to show it there, and then it'll be released. And then TJ had said, well, Disney's releasing so many films right now. coming up and right before Toy Story, he goes, I think they're waiting to hold the trailer until the release of all these films.
Yeah.
Not all of the films, but,
no.
Captain Marvel was about to be out. Why talk about Toy Story 4 if, Captain Marvel's coming out? Oh, and now Dumbo's coming out. So, we just saw the full-length trailer of Dumbo. Was it like 2 days ago?
Right.
And then Aladdin just dropped yesterday on a Monday.
Right.
No, that was Tuesday. That was Tuesday. Something dropped on a Monday, I think. That must have been Dumbo.
It was. It was Monday,
trailers
Dumbo,
on a
Tuesday,
Monday.
Aladdin.
Yeah, trailers on Monday. It's hard to see.
I know.
Like, I don't.
But it was interesting. So I just started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, if they start advertising for Toy Story right before the release of Dumbo, then people might be like, oh, well, that's a family movie, and they might only have so much budget, and they're thinking, well, I might only go to Dumbo, or wait, I'll skip Dumbo because I'll go to Toy Story 4 since that's hot on the heels of it in 100 days from today.
Oh, yeah, 100 days today.
Yeah. So it's like you start thinking about all these things, and it's the Disney family of movies is so huge now. They don't want to step on each other's toes, and they're coming out with so many live action ones and Star Wars films and Pixar films and Disney animation films. It's like, where do you draw the line? So I think when the amount of movies that they're going to release in a year is so stacked, the traditional months in advance trailers that keep coming out are just not going to happen.
Especially for Disney.
100%. Yeah. So I think we're going to get it.
Especially with Disney now owning Marvel and like Star Wars, like you said, and there's like just tons of films.
Definitely in the Marvel or Star Wars arena, there could be not as much concern because you're not hitting the exact same family audience.
But the live action remakes?
The live action remakes, any animation, Disney animation or Pixar animation, they're going to not want to overlap those more than the other ones, at least in my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right.
Yeah. It's a really good theory, though.
But yeah, I just started thinking about it, and I'm like, none of the traditional methods that we had in the past are there. And I realized when I was listening to the audio from the annual shareholder meeting how many trailers there were, because whenever they show the trailers, it just goes to audio.
Music.
Yeah, it just plays music, and it's like, the Disney annual shareholder meeting will be back momentarily. And like they just leave it at that. And so, but it was a long time.
But those in attendance are watching them.
They're watching the trailers, and I was shocked. It was a solid 10 minutes that it was away, where it was just like, just playing music, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So, anyways, I guess that's just what I was thinking, and we were talking about it the other day.
Well, because you had done a post about what someone in attendance had basically live tweeted everything that was shown
so
about Toy Story 4.
A couple of people in the forum had said, I think it was like Pixar's biggest fan user in the forum said, I'm surprised they haven't made them take that down. But realistically, there are hundreds or thousands of people at these Disney annual shareholder meetings. It's not like it's really private. I mean, at D23, people share out what they saw, and they don't ask people to take that down either. I think it's shown to so many people, they just know that there's no way they're going to try to contain that at that point. So if you're avoiding spoilers, should we talk about with a description of what was said?
I think so.
Okay. So if you're avoiding spoilers, go forward about 5 minutes for us to have this conversation, or just a couple minutes. Where the next thing we're going to talk about is Disney Plus. So if you hear us talking about that, or books coming out for Toy Story 4. And at the very end, actually, as we start wrapping up, we're going to talk about a way that you can more easily skip around the podcast too. So stay tuned for that. So what the Twitter user Scott Ladewig said, who was at the event, said, Bonnie makes fork, and this is kind of choppy because he was just, again, tweeting it out. And I've made some corrections to his tweets because he was tweeting so fast that there was like
spelling errors.
There's spelling errors and stuff. And he had funny character errors, which I'll talk about too. But he said, Bonnie makes Forky at school. Woody introduces him to everybody, I'm assuming when he brings them back home. Then they go on a trip in an RV. Forky escapes because he wants to be a spork, not a toy. Woody and Buzz go after him. Woody spots Bo in an antique shop. He goes in. A creepy doll in a baby carriage says he can't leave and sends super creepy ventriloquist dummies after Woody and Bo. Woody seems to be torn between making Bo happy as a toy and staying with making Bonnie happy as a toy and staying with Bo at the carnival. Woody explains to Forky in a scene walking down a road that he can bring happiness to Bonnie. He's her favorite too. That's what gives him life. So Buzz and others go to bring Woody back. Also, there's a quick scene showing Duke Kaboom. And originally he said there's an odd scene showing Ken with a mustache. Oh. So he thought it was like Ken and Barbie. But that's just interesting. That's a lot.
That is a lot. And when you were just saying that, I mean, I know we talked about it when you had done that post the other day. The ventriloquist dolls. Who does that remind you of?
The ventriloquist doll?
Pixar employee. Doesn't Steve Purcell like ventriloquist?
Oh, he could definitely seem like, like one of the...
Like, I wonder if because there was a time that I thought on social media that he was like asking, like he was searching for them. I don't know if he's working on this film, but that's the first person I thought of.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Like when you think of like creepy ventriloquist dolls, I mean, basically any toy in an antique shop is creepy.
It can be.
Like
yeah,
the
absolutely.
Dolls and everything. I can't wait for that scene.
That's going to be intense. And I love when Pixar pushes scenes like that.
Yes.
I mean, there's those scenes that you're like, wow, that was a cool, edgy scene. Like, it wasn't creepy, but the scene in Inside Out that I still freak out about is where they go in where they're going into abstract form.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So abstract thought. Jeez, oh, Pete, abstract form. So that is like a cool, like, I love how they pushed it.
Albert Lozano.
Yeah. Albert Lozano.
And he's tied to this project too, I believe.
He is. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if...
Ooh, maybe he's like the cutscene guy that does like these cool edgy scenes.
I don't know.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting there. There was also rumors of who's going to voice. There's like some older characters are going to be in here. Some people were saying that that's going to be taking over for Mr. Potato Head, and I don't think so. But anyways, that is what was shown at the Disney annual shareholder meeting. This has to be the official trailer, right?
Right, because we know it's like, how long was it? Like 2 minutes and something? A minute and 37, something like that?
But it'll be interesting to see like when this gets released. I have a sneaking suspicion that it'll be next week. So that's what, the week of the 18th? Mm-hmm. I have literally no insider information that is giving us this. Please don't take it that way. I'm not hinting at anything. That's just literally what my gut says. And sometimes, they say you got to go with your gut. Yeah. So I think it's going to be next week based on when they've been releasing all these.
My gut said a month and a half ago.
Well, I mean, obviously we all thought that.
Yeah.
But now in the new world, thinking about what we talked about is why I came around to that and just thought that, it'd be next week. So we'll see. I could be way off. We'll talk about it then.
We'll see.
The other thing that just to bring up real quick is that at the Disney shareholder meeting, it was actually really cool about Disney Plus. We still haven't heard anything else about the Monsters themed. I was going to say Monsters Inc., but it's between Monsters Inc. and it's between Monsters University and Monsters Inc. in there. So we don't know still anything about the whole Monsters themed television series that's going to be a part of Disney Plus as an original to that. But Bob Iger was asked by a person in attendance, about the Disney movies, the vault and all that kind of stuff. And it's very exciting that the way he worded it is that somewhere shortly after launch, all of the Disney motion picture library, so we're talking Pixar, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, are going to all be included in Disney Plus, as well as the vaulted content.
Okay, that's amazing. I'm like freaking out because...
Now I want to know, we talked about it before. Classic?
Like, are we talking like Haley Mills Disney, like from back then? Are we talking like Swiss Family Robinson? Are we talking about, Herbie? All that stuff that like I grew up watching as a kid? Are we talking about like Rescue Rangers, like TV shows?
Oh man.
Are we talking
original DuckTales?
Yeah. Are we talking about like all of that stuff?
I know. I don't. He made it sound like it's everything. He talked about that. He talked about that there's, television series and home. And he basically said it sounds like it's going to be everything.
Okay. We're sold on this anyway. And I have a question. Do you think Disney Plus is going to take over Disney Now? Because there's already an app now that's Disney Now. That's basically...
Now that's Disney Now?
Yeah.
Now.
Because it's basically just all the new shows. Will Disney Plus kind of work like a Hulu, where it's like, because I mean, our son loves, Disney Channel and Disney Junior. Will those shows just then show up the next day, kind of like Disney Now?
Oh, interesting.
Like, I can't imagine them having two viewing apps.
That would be kind of confusing. But at the same point,
I mean, I know it's for games too.
They would probably have a section of free content and then unlock everything. Okay. They're going to do that because they're going to want you to be in the app experiencing it, so that way they can always be trying to upsell you if you're not a paying subscriber.
Okay.
At least that's my guess.
You're right. Well, because Disney Now also has games and other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But right now...
That's interesting. But Disney Now is linked based on your cable provider, though.
Only for the shows, though. You can play the games and everything.
That's
you
true.
don't have to.
Oh, man. This is getting confusing.
So I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't need it. I mean, to watch the shows if all of the TV show content is going to be in Disney Plus.
Right.
So I'm excited about the movies, but I hope the shows are going to be the same. Agreed.
So yeah, we're going to see. But that was very exciting when I heard that. Mm-hmm. And the whole vaulted thing, I was like, we've talked about it, I don't think on this podcast before, but how much that should be gone a long time ago in this world.
Yes.
In the world of VHS, fine. Play the game, make people buy it, and then put it away, bring it back as a platinum edition, put it away, bring it back as a gold diamond, double digit edition, whatever it is. But in today's world of direct-to-consumer content, it just doesn't make sense. So I was glad that they're kind of doing away with that.
For sure. Because, I mean, you have a kid now, and then you can't watch Peter Pan.
We went through that for a long time because we were looking on eBay, and I'm like, I'm not paying $60 for Peter Pan when I know it's coming out of the vault again.
Yeah.
But he wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Our son wanted to watch it. Yeah, we were going around and around with that. We had it on DVD, but everything in our library is digital now, and we were just like, forget that. We don't want to be carting this disc around and all that other stuff.
You couldn't buy
anymore.
it digitally, and then I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
On eBay, people were selling for like $50.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. So, what was I going to say? The other last thing about Disney Plus. I'll be interested to see. So the other thing is, this is what I mentioned in the post that we wrote about it too. This was about the whole in the Toy Story 4 shareholder meeting trailer. At the bottom of it, it talks about the Disney Plus elements, and of course, anything that we're talking about, I'm going to have links to in the show notes. So if you ever want to find those, you just go to pixarpost.com, click on the podcast button, and this is episode 63. The other thing was around extras, so the special features.
Oh.
So will it contain those? My guess is no.
My guess is no.
Which I was going to say before, what's the point of buying anything anymore? But for the hardcore fans, I'm going to want that.
Like us.
Yeah.
Especially for Pixar films.
100%. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to have all these behind-the-scenes things for some of those really, really classic ones. Mm-hmm. So that's fine for those.
I mean, the live-action ones, I love watching the bloopers. But I love bloopers.
Honestly, can we talk about it? The bloopers, that should just be an entire... It's always like 2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It needs to be 15 minutes.
Easily.
I could watch countless bloopers.
Mm-hmm.
It
Me
never
too.
gets
and
old.
just like people scaring people.
Yeah. You
like
love
jumping out and scaring
America's
people.
Funniest Home
I could
Videos,
literally
like the Halloween
watch
episode.
that all day long.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, bloopers we need more of. Yeah, we definitely need more of that. We can leave it there, I guess.
But back to your question, I don't think there's going to be.
I don't think so either, but that's why you got to keep buying the Blu-rays.
Do you think that's going to include
4Ks?
Kind of back to the first subject we were talking about, do you think it'll include all the shorts too? Has to, right? They said the entire library.
Ooh, yeah, I would assume so.
But not SparkShorts, probably.
They said it was going to be part of it.
SparkShorts
from the very beginning
on Disney
Plus.
Oh, okay.
From the very beginning.
You're
they said
right.
that.
You're right. I do remember saying that, seeing that.
Yep. So the other thing that's kind of exciting, as more and more of the films have been coming out on, and this is not really Toy Story 4, but it's Toy Story related, and it's all going to link together, is that the Toy Story films are going to be getting, according to a Reddit, or I think it was even from Blu-ray.com originally, and somebody posted it in our forum. It's very exciting that Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are getting re-released according to the rumors, June 2nd, I think it was. I didn't write this one down. I'm just kind of off the cuff on this one because I'm remembering it. But that they're going to get re-released in 4K. So leading up to the film's release, that's going to be awesome. So we should have a discussion with them with Pixar as far as about 4K, because some people are always like, is it just more pixel stuffing or do they actually re-render it? And it's like, Pixar's not going to stuff, okay? They're going to re-render.
Coco was the first one, right?
No, Cars 3.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, was the first 4K, and then they've done Incredibles 1, Incredibles 2, Coco, and then now it'll be Toy Story 1, 2, 3. So you can expect that you can rebuy all of them coming soon. I'll be interested to see what level Disney Plus streams at too. Is it HD?
Ooh.
Is it 4K? I presume it's HD. I don't think they're going to be pushing 4K.
No.
I bet that'll be in a future update. Because for some reason, 4K digitally is very hard to come by for Disney. If you buy anything on iTunes,
it's not 4K.
It's not 4K. The only place you can get 4K natively is in Vudu. So that's just an FYI, I guess.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes of those Toy Story releases. There's some Steelbook editions that are coming out at Best Buy, which usually has the market cornered on the Steelbook copies. So we're excited about that. Also, you've got tons of Toy Story books, and we've got some reviews coming out of some of those. We've also got some reviews coming out of some of the products. We've already gotten a couple of them that were at the Disney store.
Yes.
And so there's going to be more coming there. And then, the books are going to be hitting in the first week of May. And then intermittently after that.
Oh, yeah. Up till after the film's release.
Yep, absolutely. They always do that. And then toys. So let's talk a little bit about this. So when I was talking to the good folks at Target, I just started asking some questions as far as, hey, do you have anything Toy Story 4 and when might something be coming out? And they looked it up in their little zebra machine is what they called it. And the person I was talking to said April 21st is when they're supposed to hit the shelves. So someone else in our forum, a new user, Oakster, mentioned that they heard April 22nd. But then another user had said that they took a Buzz that was actually already on the shelf at Target, took it to the register to buy it because they were like, yes, please.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, well, we actually can't sell this because it's an April 21st date-specific product release.
Yeah, and there's actually been quite a few Targets that have put out the Toy Story 4 Buzz Lightyears.
Yeah.
They've all been Buzz.
Yeah, no Forkies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's out there. So I think that pretty much wraps up the Toy Story 4 news, don't you?
I think so.
All right. So I think we'll just kind of wrap up with a little bit of what's next for us in the podcast, and then talk about that chapterized or kind of skipping around the podcast a little bit before we sign off here. So we've talked about it before, but we're at this point getting much more serious about starting either a Patreon or kind of the YouTube sponsored where people can subscribe and pay through there. We're trying to figure all of it out. Let us know if you have any thoughts, if you'd like to see it just directly through YouTube, through the support button, or a Patreon page where you could do some separate posts there. It'd be interesting to get your thoughts on it. But we've recently had some things that have changed in our lives, and, some things that we want to bring to the table a little more. We want to do some more about how we create the podcast. We want to podcast more frequently. We want to do more review videos. If you've seen one of the earlier videos we did,
do more live videos, like
we want to
Hangouts.
do more, live videos and Hangouts. We're waiting for our internet provider to get their act together because they've been going in and out a little more frequently than in the past. But
yeah, I don't know why that is. It's like whenever you want to do something and you've got these grand ideas, you do something and then the internet just totally messes up, and then you're so frustrated, and then you just get down, and you're just like, well, I don't want to move to don't go to a different location. I've got everything set up here, and then you've just wasted 3 hours, and then you're just like a week later, and then you try it again.
Are you passionate about it?
Yeah.
So if you've seen some of our other videos recently, there's one where I did kind of a candid impromptu in front of our new bookcases. We've been slowly but surely changing things over in our environment to make it more appealing, and we're wanting to do some more things. So
travel to some places.
Exactly. So we're going to be talking about those kind of things a little bit more. We want to take all of our channel to the next level. not just the podcast, not just YouTube. We want to do everything to the next level. And we've talked about it for a long time, but as you can tell from our video with the background of the bookshelf and then this podcast that we're talking about, we're actually moving some of this.
Yeah.
Also, in the next week and a half, we have an interview with another Pixarian. Not going to say anything about it. This is not related to the Toy Story 4 event, so it's actually a separate one. So we've got another interview coming up, so you'll be able to hear some more interesting and cool content coming up. So,
and we actually have another interview that we need to just release too, just to talk about from the theme parks.
Oh yeah, we had one that was hanging around for a little while. What's that one about?
Oh, it just talks. I don't want to say much because we'll talk about all the theme parks because I want to get more into that because we've got some awesome theme park news coming out for Disneyland.
Awesome. All right. So before we wrap up today's show, let us know if you, like I said, if you're excited that we're back and if you can hear a difference. You know, we're recording this. We're going to be doing some changes. I'll also want to share that we're producing chapterized podcasts now. So what does that mean? So this is where you can skip from one topic to the next that I was talking about. So not all of the podcast players out there, like Apple Podcasts, and I do not believe Google Podcasts, allow chapterized. But if that's something that you're interested in, the one that we use personally, we're not sponsoring them, we're not doing anything like that. We just happen to use them personally, is Overcast as our player. It's an iOS app, and essentially what it does is you'll see subject headers below the episode artwork, and when you click between those, you can actually just click from subject to subject. So if you're saying, oh, I don't want to hear about what Scott Ladwig was talking about at the Disney annual shareholder meeting, you can literally just click the next button. It'll go right to the next topic without having to worry about like, oh, I got to skip forward 3 minutes, 2 minutes, all that kind of stuff. So if you want, that's another way that you can do that. It's a pretty cool way to experience the podcast or other podcasts that may be chapterized out there, but we're doing that.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't even think you knew that.
No, I did not.
Yes, so we actually tested that with the last episode from a long time ago. So the Toby Chu interview that we did before for episode 62 is actually already chapterized if you'd like to check it out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can you tell who the technical person is behind the scenes?
I don't know. You? Our
With
son?
some things.
Yeah, you absolutely are. Absolutely. All right, well, that about wraps up this episode of the Pixar Post Podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. Lastly, if you like today's show, let us know. Rate us on Apple Podcasts, leave a comment on our site, or send us an email at info@pixarpost.com. Signing off as usual, I'm TJ.
And I'm Julie.
And be sure to stay tuned to pixarpost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. Bye-bye.